For thousands of college students, spring break means a week-long party. Images come to mind of hours on the beach, playing in the sand and surf. But there are hundreds of college students who give up their week. They donate their time and their skills. They pay their own way and travel to places they've never been before. They come from colleges and universities all over America. This program tells the story of some of these young people willing to make a difference. We introduce you to a group of 60 from Westminster College.
Every year I'm impressed with the different opportunities that are put before us to work together.
We broke out into 3 teams, 3 locations, each with its own purpose. We follow one group to an unspoiled barrier island on the coast of South Carolina, including a member of Westminster's Board of Trustees. We track another team inland to Sumter, South Carolina. They carried the load for a local Habitat for Humanity chapter. And our third team also worked with Habitat for Humanity. Even the college president got in on the action. And we discover he's a pretty good carpenter. So join us as we document their journeys away from the campus bubble, where our spring breakers open their hearts and their minds to new people and new experiences. For the Westminster College students,
this is Spring Break with a Purpose. I'm Brad Weaver in Raleigh, North Carolina.
I'm Corey Benedict.
I'm Josh Dunn in Raleigh, North Carolina.
And this is Spring Break with a Purpose. Here in Raleigh, North Carolina, we found America's largest chapter of Habitat for Humanity out of 1,700. Wake County's Habitat is also home to one of the largest restores. Our volunteers worked the restore. They worked the job site. They dug in for a long week of work, putting a new twist on what it means getting hammered on spring break.
On a day-to-day basis, teaching the volunteers how to use a hammer, circular saw, how to frame a wall, how to shingle, put windows in.
21 volunteers, students, faculty, and staff traveled 12 hours to work in Raleigh. Home of the North Carolina State Wolfpack and the Stanley Cup winning Hurricanes. Wake County is home to nearly 1 million people. According to Habitat for Humanity, just like any other cities, this one lacks enough decent housing.
Build affordable homes for less fortunate families, families that are in need. You say 2 kids and they're living in a 1-bedroom apartment, that kind of thing. It's just about building a quality home for, people that are in need.
2 we have under construction. 1 we're digging the foundation on today. We count on you guys to get your hands dirty.
This unskilled labor force doesn't shy away from the dirt. It will wash off, but the work they put into building 7 different homes will endure.
We're going to flush it up in the set.
From the support beams for the floor to all the nails holding it in place.
Really, it's a lot of the small things that add up to build the house and have a family be able to move into it.
We're also going to have 2 other houses over here.
Habitat members have an ambitious yet humble mission to help build a world where everyone has a decent place to live. Deserving families work on the job site with the volunteers and end up with a mortgage that is affordable, about $600 a month. Volunteers spent some money to travel to Wake County. They paid their own way. They donated more than 140 hours, but all their work they put in was a gift back to themselves.
Very humbling. I'm so thankful for what I do have, and just to be able to go to a great school where we go and go home. Some of us went home for a spring break. To have that, not even have to worry about going home.
In the end, we are transformed from this work. And we also know how to do things we never tried before. It is an experience we will always remember.
I've told my mom and my dad that this has been one of the best weeks of my life.
In Morrisville, North Carolina, I'm Corey Benedict.
I'm Brad Weaver in Raleigh, North Carolina, and this is Spring Break with a Purpose.
You said this would be easy. Please be careful what you claim. You're gone and got me in trouble, and this gets harder every day.
Welcome to 1315 Rand Drive. It's a sturdy 3-bedroom house. This modest ranch is nestled on a quiet cul-de-sac. It's located in an upscale Raleigh neighborhood. Not exactly where you would expect to find our Habitat for Humanity crew. Our volunteers expected to be raising the walls, not tearing them down.
A private homeowner, just a citizen, wanted to tear their house down for whatever reason, and we put in a bid, so we were given the chance to tear the house down. So we're here on site for a non-homeowner, non-habitat homeowner tearing down their home, and we're going to salvage as much as material as we can from the project.
This is the deconstruction program, better known as DECON. It raises money to build new houses by tearing down old ones.
So we take those building pieces that we disassemble and bring back to a retail store that we operate that sells new and used building materials to the general public.
Decon here at a job site means safety goggles, work gloves, I'm wearing work boots, and of course, your hard hat.
And everybody seems to have a favorite job.
Taking nails out. I love it.
The money that Habitat raises from this DECON project, along with 7 or 8 others, will be enough to build a 3-bedroom house.
If you counted up all the things that could be reused, 80% of that we can actually salvage and reuse.
At the end of the day, 1315 Rand Avenue is no longer a 3-bedroom ranch. But the bones of this old house and the hard work of these volunteers help Habitat pay it forward. By tearing down these walls, they put up new ones in another neighborhood. And in a way, the house that stood here at 1315 Rand will live on as part of a new home for a deserving family. Reporting from Raleigh, North Carolina, I'm Brad Weaver.
I'm Josh Dunn in Raleigh, North Carolina, and this is Spring Break with a Purpose.
All right, and then you're going to put an X going that direction.
First-time volunteer Jeff Genter takes direction very well. Volunteers like Jeff are the glue that holds these projects together. Lots and lots of volunteers.
I've learned to, use power tools and other things like that.
They do the heavy lifting.
Set it down for 1 sec. I gotta see which side the ground's on.
And they do it all for free.
Really, I could be just laying around on the couch all week, which is one of the reasons why I did it, because I wouldn't be doing anything else.
Instead, Jeff and the rest of the crew have a chance to work with their hands.
I didn't get to try the nail gun, but I'm hoping that sometime later today I get a shot to try it out.
He's talking about this device. You load it like a musket. Prepare for a small blast.
Would it be easier if I just... Yeah, you should hang on.
And fire away.
I've heard a couple of students this week saying it reminds you how grateful you need to be for what you have.
Just make your marks like that, going down this side. We're going to grab the construction adhesive, we'll get that together, and then we'll pound this thing together.
And Jeff is learning how to make his mark by donating his time and effort.
I've really learned to appreciate what I've got and my family and stuff.
From swinging hammers to learning new skills, our unskilled volunteers leave spring break with much more than they came with. In Raleigh, North Carolina, I'm Josh Dunn.
I will be the first Habitat homeowner to sponsor a new family for their home. Is that a lot of times people think that Habitat homeowners are given their homes, but people need to really understand that it's affordable for us, but we still have a mortgage every month. The first night was just a night of peace a night of joy. We jumped on the beds. We were excited. You know, they had their own room. I was able to tuck them into their own bed in their own room, which they hadn't had. And just to be a single mom, being able to do that was amazing. It was just amazing. And it was, you know, a feeling that God heard my cry, because that was a cry that I'd had for so many years for my children, to be able to afford a home instead of just paying rent. You know, they're sharing a room. Even though they were small, they were still sharing a room. So that, for me, it was life-changing. The college students, to take time to build a home for a family that truly deserves it, oh my God, I am thankful, because even though it's not me, it's a family like mine. So that's why I'm very thankful and very grateful.
And this gets harder every day. Yeah, you said this would be easy. Please be careful what you claim. You're gonna get me in trouble. And this gets harder.
For Josh Dunn, I'm Corey Benedict here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and this is Spring Break with a Purpose. It looks like the people of Ebenezer Methodist Church in Raleigh are always feeding someone. Here, congregation member Don Adams serves up a Sunday lunch. Adams and his church offered Westminster a place to eat and sleep during spring break.
Just how much they mean to us. I don't think the church really realizes how much they really do for Habitat.
But with all the meals prepared here and all the community activities this church provides, all the outreach they do, you would think the people of Ebenezer had their plates full. But they are always working on the next meal, a second helping, if you will.
We're headed to Bolivia, South America. We've made a connection with an orphanage down there called Talita Kumi. Bolivia is one of the poorest countries in South America. It's just amazing to be around the people and just see the love that comes out of them.
It's cool that they're taking care of us while looking forward to taking care of them.
Don Adams, his family, and his fellow members of Ebenezer Methodist Church will continue to feed volunteers like us and strangers, feeding the bodies and the souls with unconditional friendship. In Raleigh, North Carolina, I'm Corey Benedict.
I'm Josh Dunn in Raleigh, North Carolina, and this is Spring Break with a Purpose.
I wanna fight for a good thing. I wanna fight for a good thing, baby. I wanna fight for a good thing, and this is a good thing, I think.
So we're here at the Restore, and we've got this gym floor here. Came from William and Mary College in Virginia, and the story behind it is it was actually installed wrong, so we're trying to salvage whatever we can. So once we actually get the pieces of hardwood floor, we send them over here to get the nails out. We send them over here to package them up, and somebody's going to have themselves a really nice hardwood floor.
This has been Raleigh Spring Break with a Purpose. And that's a wrap.
Coming up on Spring Break with a Purpose, we go to Sumter, South Carolina to meet some friends with Southern charm. Over 38,000 people live in Sumter, South Carolina. 17%, however, live below the poverty line. Some families live here.
We go through a selection process with Habitat for Humanity. We have an orientation meeting that we open up to anybody in the public about 3 or 4 times a year. And during that period of time, they come and make an application with us at the orientation meeting.
Sybil Parrott is moving into a Habitat home because her foster mother is selling her house.
I never had a house. I never had the experience of building my own house, and I always wanted something that I can call my own.
Some have less than desirable living arrangements.
The flooring in her bathroom actually is rotted out. So when you sit on her toilet, if you go to get up, the whole toilet goes forward.
The Habitat for Humanity students will not be the only ones working on these houses. The owners of these homes will be taking a part in the building as well.
I believe the parents are working 375 hours, and I believe that Ms. Conyers, her daughter's old enough to work here. She's over 15, and so they're both working approximately about 375 hours of volunteer labor before they can move into these homes.
Students have the opportunity to work with the families.
Seeing them like work on their house, and they knew that like when they were in the house, when they were done, they could say like, I was a part of this, I helped make this happen. It makes the house just like so much better for them and like so much more worth it.
Their family members could also lend a helping hand.
It's like a win-win situation for me. Not only am I helping, I'm also doing something for myself.
Building a home from the ground up has its benefits as well.
I'm planning already where this picture gonna go or that lamp gonna go. So it's exciting. It's just an overwhelming feeling, you know, knowing that I will have a roof over my family's head.
A feeling that will stay with these families for a lifetime. In Sumter, South Carolina, I'm Hannah Puchkuski, and this is Spring Break with a Purpose.
Because we're going to concentrate on putting these trusses up.
The Westminster College Habitat for Humanity knew they would be visiting Sumter, South Carolina to lend a helping hand to others. What they never expected, though, was to meet a group of students who would become friends while here for the same purpose.
Westminster College freshman Catherine Foster signed up for her first Habitat for Humanity work trip, thinking that she would just go down south and help out a needy family by building their new home. She did not think that she would make fast friendships with another group of students thinking the same thing.
It was a really great experience, like getting to know all of the Duke people. It just felt like we knew them, even though we just met.
The other school participating in the Habitat Challenge was a group of 15 Duke University students. While they were all from different backgrounds and studying different subjects in class, Catherine said they each had one goal in mind.
Everyone was still very friendly, and it was all about coming together to build the house.
Duke University Junior Daddy enjoyed the support which students showed each other on the site.
Coming together with people of different experiences and backgrounds from Westminster has definitely enriched the experience.
When the students were not hammering nails into the walls or sawing wood for the roof, they enjoyed each other's company in the church Comforter, which was their home during the trip. The students ate meals together, played games, and even displayed their talents during a talent show on the last night. Duke University biomedical engineering student William Chong said that he encourages future students who plan on going on a service trip to go with people from different schools.
Go with different colleges, go with different groups of people, because you'll get a lot out of that experience.
For the County Line, I'm Courtney Crown.
I'm Courtney Crown in Sumter, South Carolina, and this is Spring Break with a Purpose.
Right?
At the Habitat for Humanity job site, all eyes are on Bob.
I started out as a volunteer in '93, and I got hooked first day. I enjoyed myself so much.
Volunteers, both young and old, are enthusiastic about Bob's work ethic.
All right, Bob the Builder, he's pretty much, if I were to sum him up in 2 words, he's the man. He's the man in charge, and he's got all the plans. He knows what's going on. He's coordinating 36 people here, actually close to over 40 people here with all of his other workers. Everything going on, and he's coordinating the building of 2 houses. So his job obviously is incredible, and for him to be able to do something like that, to me, is just mind-blowing.
Well, he's serious, and when he says he wants something done that way, he wants it done that way. But at the same time, he's willing to joke.
Bob, along with Habitat, puts quality over quantity.
Habitat operates more from a heart fashion. If we put more nails in than the others, if we build it above code, we're building the home to the best of our ability, not to the best of our pocket.
Bob Brown is the ultimate leader on this Habitat for Humanity work trip in Sumter, South Carolina. When people have questions, Bob's the man with the answers. And no matter how many colleges come and go to help finish these homes, one constant remains the same. Bob will always be there to lead the way.
Also a stack like this.
I'm Connor Kobus in Sumter, South Carolina, and this is Spring Break with a Purpose.
Here in Sumter, South Carolina, the Habitat for Humanity students seem to be showered with Southern hospitality. The culture is a little different from everyday life in Pennsylvania, but one important thing is to always mind your manners.
You're taught etiquette in the South, and you just are raised that way, and you know, your mother teaches you, and that's just what it's, I guess it's inbred in you.
Culp teaches an etiquette class for young teenage boys and girls.
Social etiquette is very important so that they know how to proper behave at events and dinner parties and in church and all kinds of places.
One way to involve both the boys and the girls is to teach the rules of table etiquette.
Well, a gentleman turns to the lady on his right and says, "May I seat you?" And she says, "Yes, thank you." And he pulls her chair out and she sits and she puts her hand on the chair as she sits down and gently pulls it up as he gently pushes it.
Proper conversation topics are a part of Southern manners as well.
Very pleasant, very, you know, you don't talk about the weather, but you talk about the things that you think other people might be interested in.
Westminster's Habitat for Humanity group got a taste of Southern life. Some students saw how they can incorporate manners when they return to Pennsylvania.
I definitely noticed a difference between here and up north with people just taking their time, like just taking time out of their day to help everyone.
Etiquette is a strong custom in the South, but it can be necessary in every other region as well.
But wherever it is, first thing you do is I think having good manners is, I think, something everybody thinks is important. Now, whether they have a Southern twist on them or not, but I do think that everybody thinks that that's important, and it should be.
Reporting from Sumter, South Carolina, I'm Hannah Puchkuski. In Sumter, South Carolina, I'm Hannah Puchkuski, and this is Spring Break with a Purpose.
I come here all the time.
When Adam Talbot isn't slaving away at his job as general manager of Dollar General, he is taking a stroll on the scenic walking trails at Swan Lake Iris Gardens in Sumter, South Carolina.
Basically come out, just venturing out, away from stress, family, job.
The Swan Lake Iris Gardens provide some rest and relaxation to visitors of the area and local residents.
Swan Lake gives guests like Talbot an opportunity for a breath of fresh air, as there are many options for a break from the outside world. The area offers 150 acres with more than 120 kinds of iris that help paint a beautiful backdrop for an afternoon stroll.
With all the nature and everything around, it's about to listen to the water, walk, just listen to the breeze. It's nice.
The Gardens Ranger Barry Blackman is very familiar with how refreshing a walk through Swan Lake Iris Gardens can be for those who visit. He provides tours for guests as well as security for the park. He says that there is a lot of novelty to be found within the floral gates.
It's a very interesting place with all 8 species of swans. The only public place in the world that has all 8 species of swans.
2 wealthy Sumter families, the Bland and Heath families, gave the property to the community as a gift over 75 years ago. The only condition they had was that the operators of the garden would never charge for guests to visit.
They just wanted to give back to the community.
The park is open 365 days a year from 7:30 in the morning until dusk. It is always free to the public, and, just like it does for Adam Talbot, it provides opportunity for everyone to take a break from the usual.
Just walking, looking at the animals, and just looking at the flowers, listening to water.
In Sumter, South Carolina, I'm Courtney Crown, and this is Spring Break with a Purpose.
Here at the Habitat for Humanity Spring Break with a Purpose trip, not only are the students building a home, but they're also taking a piece of Sumter's history to take home with them.
There's a reason these students are listening to what this man has to say.
Well, I got interested in about the family, and this Private John Alexander Brown of Company H of the 5th South Carolina Cavalry was my ancestor, and so I looked him up and found the information about him.
Bob was more than willing to share his stories on the Civil War.
Well, I can't. I don't have my orders now. I said, well, let's get the women and children out of it. And they removed them. I'm telling you all this so that you understand it wasn't bang, we're going to start a war. Man, but I hammered them.
Over 150 years later, the South still remembers those who lost their lives.
The cemeteries are taken care of when they need to be, and the battle sites, and do what we can to help that. So yeah, it's very important because it's who we are. We're not attempting to try to fight the war over again, anything else. It's simply to honor the veterans.
As for the current relationship between the North and the South,
I think a lot of it's all in good fun, and there might still be some bitterness there, but I don't think, these old Southern Confederates are mad at us Yankees anymore.
Bob's stories about the war between the states are sure to be passed down through generations.
It was out west.
In Sumter, South Carolina, I'm Connor Kobus, and this is Spring Break with a Purpose.
Actually is feeling the effects of some dehydration. To make sure that you had something to drink. So.
Everyone should try and go on a work trip once because it's very life-changing. You basically go and you serve other people and you meet new people and you learn a lot about yourself and about others that you didn't think you knew about them, and people are a lot different once you actually get to know them. So.
It's encouraged me to look for God and see how He works through people, because He really worked through all of the students on the trip, just interacting with each other and being positive through the whole week, even though we were not getting a lot of sleep and showering at a YMCA. Everybody was so excited and happy to work.
Anybody said as the first ever sorority was founded, Zeta Tau Alpha back in 1780.
Grab your cup of coffee and join us. This is Spring Break with a Purpose. In Sumter, South Carolina, I'm Courtney Crown.
I'm Hannah Puchkuski.
I'm Connor Kobus.
And we're here in Sumter, South Carolina for Spring Break with a Purpose.
Coming up, one of our crews did hit the beach for spring break, but it turned out to be more than just fun in the sun.
Nestled off the coast of South Carolina lies Edisto Island. The 10 by 12 mile strip hides just an hour southwest of Charleston. We hit the road at 5 a.m. on March 3rd. This was a familiar journey for some students as we visited Edisto last year as well.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited!
With glorious traveling weather, at last we reached the state line. Then the rains came. The weather did little to slow our progress or dampen our spirits.
I'm Joe Ligo here with Ryan Johnston. We're in the cargo van, which means it's just us two guys and a whole lot of luggage. Ryan, how long have we been on the road?
Well, Joe, we've been on the road now about 13 hours, started at 5 a.m. this morning, so it's been a pretty long day.
At last, we reached a Presbyterian church on Edisto Island, our home for the week.
See you later. Sleep well, guys.
The rain we brought with us caused Edisto to come alive, a good omen indeed. We attended the service at the beautiful church. Then we spent the afternoon exploring the island. The name Edisto comes from the Native Americans who inhabited the island over 500 years ago. Presently, Edisto maintains nearly 4,000 permanent residents. The rest of the population comes from tourism, the island's main industry. Even with this traffic, the locals strive to maintain a small-town feel.
There's not a single hotel chain in sight. The best oceanfront property belongs to this row of beach houses.
Despite the obscurity, Edisto locations appear in several popular movies.
This is the last remaining strip of King's Highway, originally commissioned by King Charles of England in the 1600s. It's been used in several films, such as The Patriot, starring Mel Gibson.
But we didn't come to Edisto for sightseeing. After spending a Sunday as tourists, we began our work.
Okay, Joe, here we are. We're headed off to the first day on the work site.
Working alongside the Edisto Home Mission team, we planned to put a new roof on this tiny church. But first, the old one had to come off. Veteran Emily Damaski has attended work trips 4 years in a row.
I wouldn't say I'm a pro, but I like to do it.
Those without Emily's experience looked forward to their first spring break work trip. Robin Gooch goes to Westminster, but she's not a student and she doesn't teach. She sits on the board of trustees.
I thought, you know what? It would be so awesome to really see what's going on with the religious life at the school if I actually went on one of those trips.
So we all worked together. Some had the fun job of tearing off shingles. Those of us on the ground had to clean them up. The team removed all the old roofing by noon. A very pleasant surprise awaited us when we stopped for lunch. The ladies of the church cooked us a full meal.
So I'm very excited.
It was just cool to see that the church cares so much that we're here helping them out.
Ashley Durham has more on this unique congregation.
Edisto Island holds a rich history based in religious traditions. In fact, on the small 10-mile island, there are 14 active churches. Many buildings here date back to the 1800s and have won the battles of time and weather with the help of recent restorations. Bethlehem RMUE Church had one consistent prayer over the last few years, a new roof for their house of worship. Westminster's team, along with the Edisto Island Home Mission, came together to answer that prayer.
All of this work benefits the small 27-member congregation. I sat down with Reverend Moore to learn about their history.
But Bethlehem was one of the older churches on the island, and it goes way back over 100 years. So, and it had remained the same pace and the culture that was intended from the forefathers.
Reverend Wesley Moore has been with the church for 20 years as pastor. He says he always believed help would come along.
It was selected because I asked. Christ said, if you have not, because you ask not. And I asked several times.
The hospitality of the congregation shows the moment you meet them, but it was clear that the small church was in need of repairs.
Such a treasure for us to have that roof done.
According to Reverend Moore, one of the biggest things to focus on in projects like this is the importance of preserving history.
Thinking of preserving the past into the future in a way that it will extend long before the time is up.
Projects like Spring Break with a Purpose are not just about service to others. For some, they're about finding a new perspective in one's personal faith.
It would really give them a better insight into things that you tried to do and not to doubt yourself, because there is something that would have been done before now had I had the blessings of the congregation.
And that faith can be seen in the students who offer their time to make a difference.
The Edisto team made great progress on the first day. As with any work site, there's always plenty of trash to be thrown out when you're making repairs. From shingles to tree limbs, and even the bathroom sink. It all goes in the dumpster. Tuesday, we began applying tar paper and carrying shingles to the roof. Sometimes 2 people to a pack, sometimes 2 packs to a person. With the old shingles gone, problems began appearing. While working, we noticed a pair of watchful eyes, inspecting our progress. Little BJ, the church secretary's great-grandson, came along to deliver our lunch. He bravely approached us during our meal, and the team tried to befriend him. We didn't get very far. Too soon, our delicious meal of fried fish and rice ended, and we got back on the job. The more we fixed, the more we found in need of repair.
Oh, thank you for splitting the stupid board.
Could these new problems prevent us from finishing in a week? And would BJ give us a second chance at friendship? We appreciated the help of the Edisto Home Mission team with our many unforeseen problems. Ryan Johnston worked alongside these great folks and shares their story with us.
The Edisto Island Mission was born in 2001 from a discussion by people waiting in an airport to return home.
And the crowd told me that they enjoyed what they did, but there's a lot of work we needed to do on Edisto.
The mission originally had 25 members. Now it is down to just a few and relies on outside help to complete some projects.
So we still have people like you that come from other places that want to work in the summer down here. So we do some work ourselves. We aren't big enough to do roofs. We don't have enough people to do a roof and things like that. But we still do a lot of minor work with the ones that we have.
The Edisto Island Mission takes great care when selecting work. The spring break team found out they were part of something special with this work site.
We normally do not do churches. In fact, this is the first one we've ever worked on. And these people approached us and asked for our help. And we normally don't do churches, but we decided that it's such a small church and came and looked at it, and it really needed some work.
The mission runs off of donations, and volunteers provide the work. For the workers who worked with the spring break team, the Edisto mission has a special meaning.
Well, a feeling that you're doing something that needs to be done in the community and helping people who need help.
I truly believe that it's part of God's work that we should give back to the community. I feel blessed that I was able to retire early. I have my health, and my wife has her health, and it's just something that I feel like I need to do to kind of give something back.
In Edisto Island, South Carolina, I'm Ryan Johnston, and this is Spring Break with a Purpose.
While the roof crew struggled up top, Robin marshaled the ground troops for painting.
And now we're going to put a fresh, beautiful coat of paint on. We're excited.
We won't say what year she graduated from Westminster, but it's safe to assume very few of her classmates would climb up a ladder and paint with such relish. Meanwhile, Kirsten prepared the old cross for a repainting.
Now I just gotta conquer my fear of the roof so I can go hang this up.
And by day's end, the paint crew had an extra member to help out. Their kindness won over little BJ. This small victory became the highlight of the day's work. Our new roof finally began taking shape, and the team grew closer as the week passed.
And it just seems like we're already a family. Like everyone works so well together, everyone's so supportive of one another.
And our faith grew as well.
I think these trips give us the opportunity to, use our skills that God has given us to kind of get back to Him.
Everyone had their chance to use the nail gun.
This better make primetime news tonight.
We found the culprit for all the holes.
Squirrels.
Squirrels!
Coming out of the soffits.
And the new paint made everything look clean and fresh. We spent Wednesday patching holes, wiping windows, and dancing on the roof. The usually quiet salt marshes were filled with the sound of hammers, saws, and air compressors. We hope to make Thursday our last day on the job site.
Today we're going to get her done.
The team and the mission workers gave it their all. Our roofers had things down to a science. Jim wrapped up business with the lumberyard and Robin held the ladder so everyone had a chance to go on the roof. We changed light bulbs, put on a second coat of paint, and we danced some more. At lunchtime, the church ladies outdid themselves.
And this is the fried chicken. Oh,
We feasted like kings on the southern delicacies of fried chicken, Hoppin' John, and peach cobbler. BJ happily hung out with us during lunch. According to Robin, we're a pretty fun group to hang out with.
The community of Christian kindness here has been, I think, the most wonderful part of my experience.
The rocks on the shingles glittered in the South Carolina sun. Everyone was in a good mood on the last day. Our cross painter conquered her fear of heights and took to the roof to attach the finishing touch on the building. As we celebrated, we were joined by the overjoyed pastor of Bethlehem Church.
They have done something that I have longed for. And with God's guidance, His divine blessing, it happened.
The trip contained many firsts. First time on a roof, first work trip experience, first time using a nail gun, first time painting, first time seeing the ocean. Edisto Island is a wonderful place, filled with beautiful sights and kind people.
Why Edisto?
Because I grew up here. It's home.
Whether it was the trips to the Piggly Wiggly, dancing on the roof, holding the ladder for someone, or the happiness of the congregation, everybody had fond memories of our work trip together. Our team would agree there is something special about the Spanish moss and the salt marshes of Edisto Island, and I can say in full confidence, I'm going to go back there someday.
Still ahead on Spring Break with a Purpose, student stories from Colorado, where they take care of the trails before they climb the Rockies.
Hi, I'm Joel Postma. This is Spring Break with a Purpose. I teach Spanish here at Westminster College. Where did I go this spring? I went to the Dominican Republic, to a town in the north of the Dominican Republic called Sabaneta de Yasica. While I was there, I worked principally as a medical interpreter with a medical group. I was the go-between between the American doctor and the Dominican patients. We have a group of people connected with New Wilmington Presbyterian Church and a few other churches mostly in the Pennsylvania, Ohio area. We send a team of doctors, interpreters, some construction workers, and educators. This year there were 31 people who went on the trip. In Sabaneta de Yasica, which is a smaller town, conditions are not barbaric, but they are limited. For example, water is sparse. Quite often the water will run out, the municipal water, and water is unsafe. I hope to be able to bring students some year. I'm looking for the right way to do that. Still haven't figured it out yet. Would I say that you get more than you give, giving up time and money and stuff like that? Absolutely. It's something I look forward to every year. Throws everything in chaos with family and finances for a little while, but it's a part of my year that I wouldn't miss.
That's what I like to hear.
My name is Rachel Wetzel, and I'm a sophomore. I'm studying Spanish. I have a minor in secondary education and art. And we went to Colorado Springs, Colorado. Two different sections of the trip. One was mountain biking specific, and the other was rock climbing.
Yeah, okay. Okay, nice and slow right here.
Our goal is when we go to a location in the outdoors, in the wilderness, we try to leave it better than when we arrived. So that means very, very conscientious about where you put your trash, how you set up different areas, and also trail maintenance, where we would be removing large trees that had fallen in the middle of paths, just places so it could be more friendly for other people, other families to go visit. you get to experience how beautiful it is, so you want to make it beautiful for other people. So we did a lot of cleanup just in the different areas we were at. I personally believe that with leadership, there's two different components. There's learning how to lead other people and learning how to lead yourself. You can't, if you are not comfortable with who you are and very confident, it's very hard to lead other people. And I've just noticed that in Titan Traverse, when we do service projects, it not only betters the community that we're serving or the people that we're helping, but it also betters who we are. So then in everything that we do, we can find a service aspect in helping someone else. And we'll tell you a little bit about Titan Traverse. It's a leadership-based activity. It's adventure outdoor education. And we like to promote leadership in different styles and different environments. So we'll take students to maybe faraway locations so they can learn some survival techniques, but also how to survive among your peers.
Getting away for a week allowed me to stand back and take a look at my priorities in life, my priorities as a student, and I think come back with a new picture of what I'm looking for.
This is spring break for us, obviously. I mean, we can be doing a whole bunch of other things, you know, going home, relaxing, enjoying the time with our family and friends, but we chose to come here, and I think that shows the good in all these people.
We're here to help people out, and we're really doing a good job of that.
Honestly, I didn't know what to expect. Honestly, I expected to hate it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really love working with my hands. Labor really isn't my thing, but once we got out there, I couldn't help but jump on the roof. I couldn't help but help with everything and learn how to do new things.
It taught me a whole lot about myself and just like how different people's situations can be bad or good.
Honestly, it made me realize just some of the little things in life that matter more than maybe what you might think.
Service isn't just about getting as much work done as quickly as possible.
I think that it taught all of us the importance of seeing the world around you.
Oh my gosh, I learned so much with my experience. I learned how to cooperate with other people. I learned when you don't know a new skill, it's okay just to ask. It's okay to have someone else help you out. And that's what the Habitat for Humanity trips are all about, is just, you know, everybody else pulling together for the benefit of one family.
Coming into the trip, I didn't really know anyone that was here. There's a few people that I had met before, but I never really got to know them. So I guess the main thing is that I got to know everybody a lot better than I had expected. You know, when you're sleeping in the same place as someone for a week, you start to get closer with them no matter who they are.
We came in kind of as newbies to this whole situation, and we were never treated as outsiders. We were never treated like, you know, this was like we didn't belong. And honestly, I thank them for that. I didn't know that we had such wonderful people.
You know, going down there, meeting new people that you might see every day here at Westminster, and you just never know them. Now you see them, and it's like you have a sort of a bond, a relationship that you can kind of talk to them about with this trip.
How to meet new people from different areas. Like, we stayed with people from Duke who I was not anticipating at all, and it was just wonderful to be able to meet a bunch of different people and learn from their experiences as well as mine.
Everybody was willing to take time out of their day to get to know you. You know, they didn't just want to say hello. They wanted to say hi, what brought you to the island, well, where are you guys staying? They were very, very kind people.
For me, it was meeting the family. Meeting Sybil, meeting the Parrott family and the Cryer family, hearing what they had to go through to not only get the house, but what their living situations were beforehand and how their children lived was just inspiring to me, that they can help build a home for themselves.
And they have so much faith for having so little in life. And you know, here where we're so privileged, it's kind of the opposite. We have so much, but we have so little faith.
There's a much bigger world out there where people have very, very difficult times making ends meet and just surviving and trying to keep families together.
It just shows that if you have a group of people that are willing to set their mind to something and really work hard at it, things can get done.
To see us all come together for one common goal to help this church was something beautiful that I didn't expect.
It's difficult to think, okay, what can I do to help? Obviously, one of the best ways to do that is to go there.
Don't be nervous about it, because it's not like people are going to be judging you if you don't know how to use a hammer, you don't know how to use a tool. They're going to teach you how to do it, and you're going to you're going to feel a lot better about yourself after you get through this, because you're going to be helping people out.
Go. I mean, it's a great experience. It's a fun experience. It's a learning experience. And you get to meet a lot of great people.
Go. You need to go. Experience it, especially when you're young and you don't have kids and you don't have your own mortgage and you don't necessarily have a job you have to report to. Go.
Go into it with no expectations, because you come out of it with such a valuable experience that it's just all so worth it.
Go out there and, you know, be a part of your community, help others that are in need.
And I really think I'll try this again. Maybe next year, maybe the year after, depending on what the school year's like, but I definitely want to try it again.
I think I'd go on another trip like this, definitely.
It just really showed me something like this, you know, it can really change someone, you know, no matter if it's like your 4th trip or even your 1st trip, that it can have a lasting impact on someone.
This made me realize that having a purpose to help others is also fulfilling as well. And seeing these families that we were able to build this house for and how it's changing their lives, and knowing that I had a little bit of an impact in that, just makes me feel so good, and just makes your heart, you know, just blow up inside. It just gets you so excited. And so I'm really glad we had an impact in their life like that.
Well, just by coming down here, you realize that you don't have to just stay in your community. There's people who need help all over the place, and anybody can help them. It doesn't matter what your walk of life is. We're just college students, and we're out here making a difference by building these houses for people who need them, you know?
It was a great experience for me as a student and as a citizen of the world to get out, go somewhere I'd never been before, experience things I'd never seen before. Even though it was only South Carolina, I felt like I was in a whole nother world. And I feel that as a student, it's your responsibility to expand your horizons and to see new things. And as a citizen of the world, it's your responsibility to think outside of where you live.
People say, you know, the world is a cruel place, and I just don't see it when I do things like this, and I see everyone just helping each other out when they can.
It's honestly made me see that people need to step up more. If someone needs help, be there before they ask, and when they do ask, answer that call. And if more people did that, the world would be a better place.
I mean, it's a short ride, and when it's all over, you're going to be like, wow, you know, I made an impact in someone's life, and that's truly, you know, the greatest gift of all.
I can help with